it would just be interesting to see how far Aston Villa can push. The last time we saw something like this was Leicester.
Yep.
Who we all thought, they will fall off. They'll fall off. And ultimately, they held on.
We have played them at home. We beat them 3-0.
Oh, you're so proud.
Anfield.
You are so proud of that.
Of course.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas, you're welcome to Budweiser's Kings of Football show, coming to you live and direct. I am Folajimi Oluwasegun James Akinshola, and today seems to be slightly different. We're going to have a different twist to it, but as life throws different things at you, you have to accept what comes your way. If you're listening right now from our X Space, we thank you very much for joining in, and for those of you with us on YouTube, we appreciate you for always keeping it locked right here. Make sure you press the like button as well as subscribe right here to get all the updates as it concerns Budweiser's Kings of Football show. Ozo is not going to be with us today. He was supposed to be my tag team partner, but unfortunately I have to go in a handicap match against these two partners here who have been doubled to face me. But you know what? As a king, you're built to face all adversities. Talking about adversity, the individuals in front of me are not necessarily on my side when it comes to football or even the Premier League. But right here, right now, we'll have to do this show together. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in no particular order, because they both know how to get under my skin, please welcome. Well, okay, you guys are both close on the table. Tottenham and Man U. Representing Manchester United from the depth of his heart till the day that he probably passes, the one and only Biola Kazim. How you
Jimmy,
doing, brother?
Great to be here. How are you doing, brother?
The smirk on your face is...
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how does it feel being an elephant these days? I told you the other day, right? There's only one direction when the elephant is sitting on a tree. And that's Merry Christmas to you.
It wasn't Emery for me.
Merry Christmas to you.
You're welcome on the show, my brother.
Great to be here, man.
He might not be as sad as he used to be, but I'm sure he's happier now that Arsenal is also in the doldrums. Ladies and gentlemen, he supports Tottenham not by choice, but because he defends them so vehemently, and we've given him that title as a Tottenham fan. Ladies and gentlemen, he's my friend. He's an international superstar. He's always on the road, but never misses out on a chance to take shots at me. He is the one and only Puja. How you doing, bro?
100%.
Why would you not be 100%?
Spurs are back-to-back win. Richarlison started scoring goals, so everything is falling into places. It's a good Christmas for Spurs. I can say that for Man United.
I'm so happy both of you are on here because you're not going to be facing only me.
No, we are facing you.
You are facing you.
Like
100%.
literally and figuratively, we are facing you.
We are tag teams.
This is not the WWE. Watch yourselves. All right, let's get straight into it. You already brought the topic up. For whoever is listening right now, I need to remind you all as well that you can be a part of the show. There is lots and lots of rewards available, starting, of course, with our kickoff question, which is available for everyone on our X space right now. If you are on X and listening to the space, please feel free to answer the 5 questions that have been posted up. If you answer all questions correctly, you stand a chance to win 75,000 naira. Right about now, it's time for us to get into our hot topic. The hot topic is very clear and loud. It is very possible Aston Villa will push for the top of the table come the end of the weekend. Why are we saying this? Well, this is uncharted regions for Aston Villa, a team that was 4 seasons ago just returning from relegation, and now are pushing for a major position in the top 4. I need us all to have a moment and take a good look, a critical look at Aston Villa. How have they done what they've done this season?
A lot of it will come down to Unai Emery. I don't think he's respected enough for the quality of job he's done across his whole career. It was stellar for Sevilla. Went to PSG as well, delivered the title. Obviously that loss to Barcelona at Nou Camp is a stain on his record. But PSG were quite competitive. They won the league quite easily with him. Then he went to Villarreal as well. Did a very, very good job.
He's a big time coach.
Absolutely. Unai Emery is extremely intelligent. And after all is said and done about Mikel Arteta and all that he has done at Arsenal, reality is that Emery won more. you know, than.
Now what?
Well, let's move on. But yeah, he's an incredible manager for teams like this. You get the feeling that maybe at the highest level of football, maybe his personality might not be a perfect fit for the biggest players.
Yeah, that's the only shade.
Absolutely. But for players who are on the up, who want to work hard, who will buy into his ideas, I think that he's a phenomenal manager. And I mean, he took over Aston Villa, they were 17th with Steven Gerrard. And everybody thought if he gets them to mid-table, he will have done a phenomenal job. If you zoom out over the past 44 games, he's done 86 points.
Wow.
If you zoom out, he's won 15 home games. These are against the biggest teams. I mean,
almost on an average of 2 points per game.
Yep. He put City and Arsenal to bed at home, back to back.
Wow.
Clean sheet against Arsenal. I mean, these are...
I mean, just hearing it sounds momentum.
And it's the consistency of these performances. Right. So he's done an incredible job. And the thing about them is that the things that they do, they are excellent at, particularly at home. They will suck you in, hit you on the break, time and time again. They will get a goal. Once they get a goal, you're in big trouble. Because obviously, if you're a big team, you will come forward and they will try and nick a second one. I mean, they should have torn Arsenal to pieces in the first half.
They should have. And then in the second half, Arsenal should have done the same. But
Arsenal lost. Let's just confirm that.
Let me ask Pooja this question, even if the VAR and Havertz handball is still in question. Pooja, is it a case of Unai Emery is just not... it works best when the expectations are less? I mean, no disrespect to Sevilla or Villarreal, but Arsenal is a cut above those other teams. He wasn't successful at Arsenal. He wasn't relatively as successful as he wanted to be at PSG. But every other team, that is Villarreal, Aston Villa, Sevilla, the level of success there is always above expectation.
Yep.
So is he a coach that, finds it hard to perform under the weight of the expectations, or performs best when nothing is expected of him?
Well, I think, I would say to what Biara said, I think for Emery, when it comes to top players, very difficult to control because they have to absorb his philosophy. They have to play like he wants to play.
They have to believe in him.
And at PSG, the ego at the clubs,
100%.
Big players, and you want to give that philosophy back to these players. But at the lesser club, at Arsenal as well, not really big players. But
it was the timing of it.
Yeah.
It was the timing of it.
And if you look back at the amount of time that Arteta was afforded,
if Emery had failed,
he actually hadn't failed. Arteta did 8 back-to-back and he kept the job.
I just think Arsenal, he just didn't fit the profile.
Absolutely. The charisma, the personality, all matters. The kind of things that you say, they matter.
Yeah.
And you look at Aston Villa, they're not lesser players, average players, but like Bella said, they want to get to that top. And with a manager like Emery, who loves his philosophy, look at how they play at home. They play with no respect. And if you have top managers or top players like that in that team, they will want to do most of the things he wants them to do.
I can even beg to differ in terms of them having lesser players, because if we look forward or look backwards at the players they have right now, Arsenal wants to buy Douglas Luiz. Arsenal wanted to buy Diaby.
But the point Pooja is making is that Arsenal wants to buy them off the performance that they are putting out for Emery.
No.
Like prior to Emery, they were 17th on the log. Nobody was really interested in these guys.
Minus their performances for Emery, right? I mean, if I'm looking at a Diaby, Arsenal would have loved to have a Diaby as a substitute for Saka at the beginning of the season. I kept crying about it before he got to Aston Villa. Yuri Tillemans, Arsenal wanted him in that midfield, and he's performing so well for them now. He right now,
really well.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, they are not really they're not bid part players. Is what I'm trying to say. They are actually, not even average. They're actually very good. They're quality players.
Absolutely. The point you're making is correct. I'm just saying that the reason why big clubs are now desperate for them is that because of Emery's coaching, they are now playing at a level
their performance
that big
is
teams
highlighted
can now look
now.
at them and feel like these guys
we can
ready
trust them
to come into our team. I think for me, what's most impressive about Emery and Aston Villa is the amount of goals that they score. Only Liverpool and City have scored more goals than Aston Villa. Typically, when you see and you score 20, you are not going to be anywhere close to the top 4. 100%. They've got, I think, 35 goals, and they typically democratize their goals. Their goals
Everybody
from all over the place. I mean, obviously, the main goal threat is Ollie Watkins, but a few other guys chip in, Leon Bailey, Diaby, John McGinn. They spread the goals all around. So for me, he's been able to coach a team that is solid defensively, but offensively, those guys will hurt anybody.
The top 5 teams, they've beaten 3 of them so far.
Yep. They beat City and Arsenal back to back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get that.
with a clean sheet.
Who's the third person they beat?
You tell us.
Oh, there you go. Because
We are not
you're so
interested.
quick to
You tell
you're so
us.
quick to they beat City and Arsenal.
Don't the one that we know.
Ooh.
Tell us the one that you know.
People should relax.
Don't have it. Just deal with facts. Did
Okay.
they beat us now or not?
Are you part of the top 5 that we're talking about here?
Who is
You
the-
You're there with us right now. Please put your hand up if you want to contribute to what we know as Aston Villa doing big things at the moment. I do have a number of speakers available. Please go ahead and give us your comments on Aston Villa. What do you think about their sudden rise to vying for a top 4 position this season? Henry C., talk to me.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
Morning. I want to believe you're a Liverpool fan.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm just looking based on your profile picture here. All right, let's not talk about Liverpool just yet. Let's actually talk about Aston Villa. Liverpool hasn't played Aston Villa yet, have they?
We have played them at home. We beat them 3-0.
Oh, you're so
at
proud.
Anfield.
You are so proud of that.
Yeah, that's it. Of course.
I think
We need to make Puja a Aston Villa fan. Tottenham is not doing it anymore.
I think they've been atrocious in the way from home. Maybe because of the mentality. You know, when they were playing Arsenal, we're talking about, you know, they are 14 and unbeaten. They are going for 15. There's a record on. So I think the mentality for them to go all the way at
And
home,
continue the run.
Yeah, but away from home, I think there's a bit of doubt. Of course, if you are playing so well at home and going away from home and not performing well, I think maybe there's the doubt setting in, even from Emery himself. So it boils down to philosophy, mentality, and at the end of the day, maybe doubt.
Okay, so in terms of this doubt, now, do you think they're a team that has the least pressure right now, or is the pressure beginning to mount because now everybody's paying attention to them? A lot of teams are doing their homework about their players, specifically those that are dangerous to the opposition.
Yeah.
So a lot more attention is being paid on them. Are they under pressure or no pressure at all amongst the top 6 teams? Who has the most pressure?
I mean, obviously, pressure correlates directly with expectations.
Right.
Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal clearly expected to be where they are or even better.
Okay, I hear you.
Aston Villa not necessarily expected to, but you know, pressure is external and internal. The external pressure they will not have. If they drop to 7th, you and I will sit here at the end of the program and say they have done well.
Yeah.
But if they want to win, if they believe themselves that they want to win, then they will be under pressure. Because then obviously if you set that target for yourself and you don't meet it, you get a sense.
Based on the kind of coach they have, which one do you think they're currently having?
I think that is half and half. I think that the good and bad thing about football is that football fans learn very, very quickly, and their taste buds, you know, improves really quickly. Now that they are third,
That's Newcastle.
you get now that they are third, right? If they are third for the next 2-3 weeks and they drop to 6th, their fans will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Of course.
So they have that external pressure from their fans to say, "Hey guys, we can be third, we can be
There
more."
before, yeah.
right? But if Unai can get into the heads of the players and say, "Look, we could be the new Leicester." If you go over to Spain, for instance, Girona, top of the log. You go over to Germany, Bayern Leverkusen, at top of the log. Frankfurt, they beat Bayern 5-1. We've seen Stuttgart doing well. If you look all across Europe, it does look like the kind of season.
The unexpected.
The season before
are
last
stepping
was
up, yeah.
Napoli winning the Serie A. So if you can get this message,
What about the Farmers League? It's still PSG, right?
yeah, but they win They've won next year's
Like
league.
I said, the Farmers League.
they win every year, right? So I think that if you can get into their head to say, look, over the past year or so, teams who are not expected to win titles are winning titles. And even this season, we saw Girona, what they did to Barcelona last week. They are sitting pretty at the top. If you can get it into their heads and get them to believe, just like Leicester did, I think everybody will be. They remind me in some way when they play at home of that Leicester team.
Yep.
A very simple team.
Yep.
You know what it is that they are going to do. Up front, they will kill you with pace. In the middle of the park, a lot of application, a lot of work. Luckily for them, they have John McGinn, who is extremely intelligent. I think that the reason why he's not as respected is his name. I think if his name was John Guida or something like that, it's just difficult to look at a guy whose name is McGinn and feel like...
At this bus stop, I'm going to stop you right there.
But, you know, they do simple things, but they do them excellently well.
Pretty well.
So it could be that season. We've seen City looks like a bit of fatigue is setting in. Liverpool, not too, you know... I mean, we've seen them struggle
going
against...
under the radar.
And then, you know, Arsenal, elephant falling on the tree. They've done it a couple of times. Who knows? Aston Villa might just.
Anyway, I'm going to Twitter space. Thank you. Creed, you are here on with us. I'd like to get your opinion on Aston Villa. If you could tell me one player that you think would take Aston Villa closer to where they want to be, because the transfer window is upon us. In a couple of weeks, transfer will be opened. The January window will be open. So I'd like to know if there was one player. We're still talking about Aston Villa here. If there was one player that you think they need to add for them to have a solid fight for the title this year, who would it be? Creed, you have the floor.
Okay, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me. Okay, Aston Villa, if you look at the way they are playing, I think they have everywhere on lock. But I think they should go for a left back.
A left back?
I think left back is good. Yeah, I think because Lucas Digne is out on. I think he's out on.
He's out injured,
yellow card and whatnot.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think they still have. I think they have Moreno.
Oh, so because of a yellow card, you wanted to buy a new player there?
No, it's not even about that. Like, if you look at Lucas Digne, like, he haven't been on that electric form he was seasons ago now.
Right.
Yeah, if you look at years, I haven't been on that electric form. Yeah,
so you see him as a weak link in the team?
Yeah. I think if they can get, I think their midfield, they have. I think they got their midfield covered.
But they might need to reinforce if for a team that is So, for example, I give you the statements that are being made. Arsenal is interested in buying Douglas Luiz. If Aston Villa sells the Douglas Luiz, what does that say about their intentions?
It's going to happen in the summer. I don't think they're going to get Douglas Luiz.
Oh, okay. So you don't think Aston Villa is losing any players this winter transfer?
This January, no. I don't. Unai Emery will not be that to do that now.
Keyword.
You guys
no, they wouldn't sell Douglas Luiz. They're not sell Douglas Luiz. The thing is, the way the EPL is right now, if you are a team doing quite well, you don't need to sell a player mid-season. Just wait till the end of the season. You're going to get. Obviously, you get into the Champions League because that player stayed with you. You get money, and then you can sell the player at the end of the season if you choose. But here's a note of warning: Douglas Luiz is not going for a penny less than £80 million.
I was even thinking if they get into Champions League, we're looking at another potential 100 million.
Absolutely,
depending on how much you want him.
Yep.
What do you see about Manchester City right now, or do you think this poor form, if they don't win as much as they won last season, would it give Pep the ginger to go on even further than what we're projecting for him?
Well, I think I don't think so. I think for Pep, he has identified that Rodri is a very big part of his team, and I think maybe next season or maybe the next transfer window is going to get good replacement. I don't think we can isolate, Rodri not playing, them losing to Pep wanting to leave, or maybe
no. I don't think. I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm saying if the results continue this way, would he feel the need to say, you know what, I've done a good job. Let me look for another chance. Because what else to achieve?
I'm not so sure. It's a question of what else to achieve.
Unless he sees Man City as his final destination.
I mean, he's been there 7 years. He does
longer than he's been in any team.
Yeah, it does look to me that the conditions that Manchester City have provided, he cannot get it anywhere else in the world.
Nowhere, yeah.
And to that extent, he's a manager who sort of like thrives in conditions, as far as I'm concerned, that make failure almost impossible. Right? City have done everything legally and illegally to make sure that they continue to do. And I think that he's attuned to that. If he leaves City, then where does he go? You go to like a Real Madrid where he can't go to Madrid. It's
impossible.
If he goes back to Germany, he cannot go back to Bayern. He's been at Bayern.
I mean, he cannot be the Spanish coach now.
Yeah, maybe he can be the Spanish national, but
that's more of a retirement plan for him. Yeah.
The expectations are completely different. Different. So I mean,
it's down to the man. If the man is still very much
the only challenge you have left is maybe like an Italy, because if you look across, apart from maybe people like Sir Alex and Arsene Wenger, who had a long time at particular clubs, all of the other coaches who have had a great time. I'm talking about Conte. I'm talking about Capello. I'm talking about Mourinho. They test themselves at big clubs and at smaller clubs.
Ancelotti,
Ancelotti was at Everton.
Imagine, he tried it.
He was at Napoli, right?
He actually
so
tried
I don't think that it necessarily reflects badly on a manager if you leave a Manchester City to say, hey,
to go try a new challenge,
Napoli and do something there. But it does look to me like Pep has to be in conditions that means that failure, even the kit man can win the league.
For everyone on our X Space, we do appreciate you guys as well. I really would have loved to take even more comments, but time, as you know, is nobody's friend, especially when you're having fun. And I do know you've been having fun with us right here, whether you're going to be watching on YouTube or even listening on X Space. We 100% appreciate you all for being a part of the show. I also want to remind you guys as well, please, whatever it is, if you're on YouTube right now, you also stand a chance of winning 50,000 naira. All you got to do is make sure you participate with our question in the comment section. And of course, I remind you again, like, subscribe, and share. Make sure everybody's a part of what is Budweiser's Kings of Football show. Last words, guys?
Great to be here. Always a pleasure. Obviously, we're getting into the thick of the season.
Yep.
And it would just be interesting to see how far Aston Villa can push. This title. Like the last time we saw something like this was Leicester.
Yep.
Who we all thought, they will fall off. They'll fall off. And ultimately, they held on. It's difficult to see how Aston Villa will do this, but
we thought Newcastle was going to do it last year as well.
I think that we didn't think as much because there was no Unai Emery factor. With Aston Villa, they have good players like Newcastle, but they also have a manager that we all know is extremely astute.
They're still in Europa League? Or?
Yeah, they are still in the Europa League. They are in the Conference League, I think.
Yeah.
They are in the Conference League. And
that might affect
Thursday
football.
He's always struggled with cups and leagues, right? But he does have a chance now. I just feel like the longer you stay close to the big boys, something starts to change.
Your mentality.
Mentally. And then you start to respond to adversity, because ultimately the team that wins the league at the end of the season is the one that responds best to adversity.
So Puja has been hanging with us big boys. Has your mentality changed?
Puja is a big boy, I can tell you that. I can tell you that.
Back-to-back wins.
Tell me, we've been hanging with a big boy. Final words, Puja.
Well, enjoy the game. Good to be here, obviously, but enjoy the EPL.
Always a pleasure to have you guys. You bring the energy, even though you take so much shots at me, and you make people think that I don't even know the football. I'm really like, I keep missing questions. Anyways, thank you guys for being a part of the show. I am Jimmy. He's been Biola Kazim. Of course, we've had Puja, and of course, all our contributors from our X Space. We appreciate you. Keep it locked right here, because you know what? Peace, love, and respect is what we should hold deep.